Hello, good morning and welcome back to Disused Railway Diaries with me, Colin The Head. And what we're going to do on today's episode of Disused Railway Diaries is explore the 163 yard long tunnel here at Cadeby. Just behind me is the Conisborough Viaduct, which we featured in a previous video. And obviously what happens is the Conisborough Viaduct line converges with the Cadeby Tunnel line. Now the tunnel was part of the Hull and Barnsley. When originally opened, there was a contract in place for the Cadeby Tunnel to transport 310,000 tonnes of coal to Hull. It actually was part of a branch line, was the Cadeby Tunnel, and it actually set off from Wrangbrook Junction at Upton. It was 12 miles long and it came to Cadeby Tunnel. Now Cadeby Tunnel was the biggest earthworking on the actual line. It was the biggest project. The 163 yard long Cadeby Tunnel actually was the biggest actual engineering project on the line. The branch line also served the villages of Pickburn, Brodsworth, Conisborough, Mexborough and Cadeby. But it was part of the Hull and Barnsley. Now the Hull and Barnsley was a little bit late in railway mania and it actually served a very short life. So there's just a couple of facts here about Cadeby Tunnel. So what we're going to do now, we're going to have a walk down to the tunnel face and we're going to see what Cadeby Tunnel's got to offer Disused Railway Diaries. So as you can see behind me, we're just at the western portal here at Cadeby Tunnel, and it's a quaint, quiet little affair. You know, it's quite catching, as you can see, and it's built out of local sandstone. As you can see, it's got vertical side walls, and we're going to take a look at them later on in the actual show. But here we are at the western portal at Cadeby Tunnel. As we've said in his previous videos, railways are always built out of local stone. Now usually, predominantly, the Hull and Barnsley is built out of red brick, right? But the Cadeby Tunnel, as you can see, is built out of sandstone. The actual decor on the actual tunnel is not concise with the Hull and Barnsley. So you can see it's got a sandstone faced portal. And obviously vertical side walls and a lovely keystone as well, can I add. It's got a lovely keystone in the centre of the actual tunnel. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at the actual railway banking. This area here where we stood was actual railway banking and was stood on infill. This is all infill in between us. So this cutting would have been a lot deeper, as you can see, but over time it's been backfilled and it's been filled in. It's actually quite hard to find this tunnel. Right, if you didn't know it were here, you wouldn't know. You'd just drive past it and you'd completely miss it. We are actually physically coming to look for it. A lot of people don't even know it actually even exists, this tunnel. So what we're going to do now is take a walk down the actual railway banking and have a look at the Cadeby Tunnel. So here we are at the front of the western approach. So we're going to talk a little bit about the tunnel itself and its construction. So taking a look around, first thing we'll notice is these side walls here behind me. Now the 7 foot tall, these side walls before arch, they're actually vertical to the side of the wall. So obviously these are reinforced sandstone walls, retaining walls, right? A reason why these were actually used, and you can actually see they're actually quite thicker than the rest of the arch, because it's got a brick arch. It's the geology and the actual stone it was built through. Obviously it was a bit iffy geology, this tunnel, to actually construct, because it goes into the valley side wall. So there's two of these at 7 foot. But I do believe as we get further into the tunnel, these become intermittent and they're not as, how can I put it, they've been patchwork repaired at certain points during tunnel. The arch itself is built out of brick and it's built out of blue brindles, and there's actually a bit of cracking in the actual arch, and it has actually been flattened out in areas. So that's just a little bit about the tunnel. So we're going to take a walk into the tunnel and have a good look. Now my eyes have adjusted and I can see. But like I said, the actual tunnel itself, it's actually got a curve of 25 chains to the north. So there's actually a curve, so you can't see end to end in this particular tunnel. Let's have a steady walk into the tunnel. The recesses that we're in, right, obviously they're staggered to these recesses. Now we don't know whether they're actually in really good condition for a tunnel to say it's disused. As you can see, they're built out of blue brindles, this area. As you can see, it goes from sandstone to blue brindles at this part of the tunnel. Now, when the tunnel was first designed, the recesses were in the original construction plans of the actual tunnel, and they're actually staggered. But some people said that the recesses weren't originally put in from the start of the tunnel's life, they were actually put in after. They've also got reflective panels. These are supposed to be reflective panels, these, so you can see the actual recess in the dark, and they've all got these. But the recesses are in really good condition. As you can see, it's a really dry tunnel. It's even that dry, spiders are living down here. We've got a spider that's living in Cadeby Tunnel. So, yeah, it's quite dry actually. It's a dry tunnel. Obviously we've got a bit of moisture at each portal, a few puddles and that, but the actual under feet, it's actually dry. And I can't hear no water seeping in, which is quite common for Victorian railway tunnels. They suffer with leakage a lot. And I can't hear no water cascading down to the floor, so that's another good indication that it's a good, sturdy, dry tunnel, because it's the water that destroys them. It's the water that destroys the tunnel and causes them to become shut up and, you know, outer access because of water ingress. That's the main thing with disused railway tunnels, is the water ingress. This is a better quality refuge. Obviously, if we looked at first, this is a lot better presented in my eyes. In fact, it's perfect. You know, there's no spalling, there's no cracks, there's no distortion. It's nicely marked out. And yet again, we can see how the wall's been altered. No, the side wall. It's as if it's been put in after. So obviously this is original construction, this sandstone. And then obviously they've put this in after. These recesses have been put in after the opening of the tunnel for the safety of the workers. Now the Hull and Barnsley were actually a late railway to be constructed. It were late, and it served a really small, short life, did Hull and Barnsley. It were late. It were a lately constructed railway. It was actually one of the last of the railway manias. So its life was very short. It wasn't a very... It didn't serve a long... It was built after all the rest. In fact, it was the last mainline railway to be built in Britain. And its sole purpose was coal. So it was one of the first to be built and one of the last to be built and one of the first to close with the Hull and Barnsley. So by this time, you'd have thought safety standards had become like a standard. So recesses in tunnels should have been a standard, so you'd have thought Cadeby Tunnel would have had them from the start, but obviously with this patchwork repair here, that obviously tells us differently, as you can see. Obviously it's not a long tunnel, it's only 163 yards in length, so it don't boast the features as such as Barnsdale. Barnsdale comes in at 1,226, it's only 163 yards long, it's not even got an air shaft in it. And it was probably built by drift. It was a drift tunnel, so there were probably never ever really a proper heading for it. It was just, you know, it was just done as it was. As you can see, the curvature on it, it's in steps. It was just a drift tunnel. It was built from end to end. There were no shafts sunk. There were no big construction really. So it was probably a quite easy tunnel to build, the Cadeby Tunnel. Apparently it is haunted, this tunnel, along with Barnsdale Tunnel. So there is actually a ghost story that actually goes with the tunnel. So the story goes with expert ragger is that there were a gypsy girl. I've got to watch what I said because there is a curse that surrounds this tunnel. There were a gypsy girl, and she used to sell rags in Mexborough to earn money, and she used to sell rags to the colliery workers in the area. Now the story goes that she got hit by a train and she disappeared. And obviously she used to use the tunnel to get to the Cadeby colliery. Now obviously the story goes she was walking through the tunnel and she got hit by a train, and her remains were left in the tunnel for a considerable amount of time. So apparently the tunnel is haunted by the Mexbaraga. Now that is the story of this actual particular tunnel. Now whether this story is true, but apparently if you upset her, you'll succumb to the curse. We're at the midpoint of the tunnel, and obviously if you look from end to end, it's got a nice curvature all the way through. Like I say, it's 25 chains from one end to other, so it's got a little bit of a curve. We are at the midpoint. In fact, we're past the midpoint of the tunnel, and this is it. And its sole purpose was called the Water Station, situated at the Cadeby end, and it also did not see a lot of passenger traffic. There's been patchwork repairs all the way through the tunnel for some reason. Sidewalls, you see, these sidewalls, the reason why they're of a wider diameter is to stop its vertical sided arch, because it's got a vertical sided arch, this tunnel, and the vertical sidewalls, which incorporates a lot of problems. Now, the reason why they're thicker, these walls, is to stop the tunnel from collapsing in on itself from underneath. These have got to be of a tougher grade to stop the tunnel from sliding from underneath due to subsidence, because the tunnel is built in an hillside. There's a massive hillside right down to River Don, and this tunnel's perched right high up on Valley Side. So natural laws of physics is the tunnel's constantly under pressure. There's a construction joint every 11 feet. So you've got one here that goes all the way across the arch, and then obviously 11 feet down the wall, there should be another one, and there is. There here, look. Can you see that? Every 11 feet you'll have a joint, and that's when the move... I've got a phone call. Yeah, ma'am. Hello? I'm just in Cadeby Tunnel, ma'am. Well wait, I'll be there before 12:30. We're nearly wrapped up here. We've just got to finish Cadeby Tunnel off, and I'm coming to see you. Alright, ma'am. I'll see you in a bit then. Ta-ra, bye. Bye. Just me, ma'am. But yeah, every 11 feet, you've got construction joints. So there's one here, and there'll be another one somewhere down here. Where's the next one? Here. And these go all the way through the tunnel. So every 11 feet, what they've done is they'll reset the heading for the chain. We're talking about the chains, the 25 chain. They'll have reset it at another angle, and then they'll have followed that one. And then obviously they'll have got this staggered affair all the way through, and that's how they got the curvature of the tunnel. It'll be done in 25 chain lengths, and then the construction joints for the actual tunnel, and that's how it was constructed. The thing about this tunnel is it's got some really nice decor, I must admit. It's presented in sandstone, and it's got these really box standard wing walls here for the side. They're really good, and obviously it's got 4 of them, but they're really good examples actually of a wing wall. Quite textbook and what you'd probably expect from a railway tunnel. It's very rare you see them in such nice context. But yeah, that's Cadeby Tunnel for you. Quite impressive, lovely structure here in South Yorkshire. You know, it's just a little short 163 yard long railway tunnel here in South Yorkshire, but it's quite an interesting railway walk, and it's an easy railway walk to be fair. So there you have it. We've been and explored the Cadeby Tunnel. We've seen what the Cadeby Tunnel's got to offer us. And yeah, it's quite an interesting short little disused railway walk. Really accessible, really easy to get to. So yeah, we've come, we've been, we've seen, and we've saw. And it's been quite a good little expedition today here at Cadeby. Right, so thanks for watching Disused Railway Diaries. I hope to catch you in another episode of Disused Railway Diaries soon. Thanks for watching. I'm Colin The Head. Bye.